I'm John Beaudin. Here's part 5 of our interview series with Level 42 co-founder Phil Gould. I'm John Beaudin from Rocky Street Music. I love the physical presence. I like the do. I just love the way that song is kind of like the do. It's just got kind of my shoulders always lower when I hear that song. There's just something about it. I just love that tune.
It's so cool. I had 4 rack toms at this point on the floor, and they were tuned in that kind of in a timpani style. Like the top head is in tune with itself, and it's in tune with the bottom head. They're the same note, and that's they were open, But we had the studio, an incredible engineer, and so they were like playing notes. That do. It's a melody, So it's a bit like those kind of melody intros that you hear, and I came up with that in rehearsals, and every take I did, I think we only did 3 takes actually, but every take I did, I start like that because I knew it was a motif. And in fact, actually, what happened after I left was that there was, I think, Radio 7 in Paris, Radio Set, used that fill as the intro was like the musical intro to the news bulletin on the hour, and apparently it was used for 6 years or something like that. That do. Here's your report, and it's like I didn't get a cent. Because it was like under 6 seconds.
Oh, is that how it worked?
Yeah, something like that. At the time, like a sample under 6 seconds. It was not considered melodic content because it was a drum loop. They said, but actually it was a melody. And Wally was telling me, "Hey, I keep hearing you on the radio." Oh my god.
Leaving Me Now is another one. Tell me about. I love that song. I remember that being a single. Beautiful. Love that. I like the long version.
Yeah, I mean that was a melody of Mark's, and I remember thinking that's a great melody, and like I came up with these lyrics, but I think a lot of the lyrics were actually, I was in my mind when I think of that title, "Leaving Me Now." I mean, I'm kind of almost out the door at the moment because when I went to the Isle of Wight to write those lyrics, I felt really disenfranchised because I felt betrayed or something, whatever I was feeling. So "Leaving Me Now," if you listen to some of those lyrics, like "I leave as I enter, another boy caught in between." I'm actually sort of putting, Mark, bless him, had this great sound as a singer, but he really didn't have a huge interpretive relationship to the lyrics. So I put these lyrics in front of him, and he would like look at them. Oh yeah, that's cool. It all scans really well, and sing 3 takes, and we'd edit the 3 takes, and it was all kind of very spontaneous. But I don't think he really looked at what I was actually putting in his mouth. Like some people, what's that line? Some people kill for less. I always gave my best. Your memory serves you so badly. It's like I'm really being sort of feeling sorry for myself at this point, or a good man in the storm. It just occurred to me I must be blind. Why do I try so hard to keep my cool and about to lose my mind, Mark? And like people, so that's the conversation we were having. Is very odd, but you hear these situations. You hear this incredible story like of rumors, how they made rumors. And like this person separating that person and that person having an affair with the drummer. And my God, how they made that record. But they're all singing to each other in their songs. Like You Can Go Your Own Way or whatever. And I think sometimes, if you're in the middle of a messy situation, it actually provides an awful lot of, real material that you can tap into. That maybe is a reason why it maybe has resonated with people as not something like, we weren't making it up. It was something we were going through, which I think is actually pretty cool in the end.
Well, speaking of Wally, working with him, I remember when I was doing light jazz, before they called it smooth jazz, we were playing actual jazz musicians along with what became smooth jazz. It was a nice mix. I was playing some of Wally's earlier stuff. And what was it like working with him?
Oh, it was a great experience. I mean, I met him on the M session, the first recording session I did for this studio project by Robin Scott. And I was talking to Robin the other day, actually, because I'm writing a piece at the moment about the day I met David Bowie when I was in the studio. We were recording at Mountain Studios in Montreux, and I met Wally doing the TVs, and then we went to Montreux to record. But it was one of the greatest strokes of luck of my life, because it was such only a couple of years before, Wally was a law student, He'd only started playing keyboards at the age of 18. But all of a sudden, I think he did a few sessions, and after he did some sessions in Paris, strangely enough, he was going into sessions in Paris because his brother was a bass player, and he was just playing any old keyboard that was lying around. And he kept doing these really cool parts, so he kept getting asked back So he actually became a musician via doing sessions, and then bought his first keyboard with the money he made doing sessions. I think his first keyboard was a Korg polyphonic, which I have right here, and ensemble. But he was so inventive. He was so intelligent and so original. And to this day, like the new single, The Dance, if you listen to these keyboards on that, it's nobody else can do anything like that, you know. And now he does it all on a laptop. In those days, it would be a Prophet 5, a Korg polyphonic, a Mini Moog. But yeah, I was so lucky to meet him. And then as Level 42 emerged out of those M sessions, actually, because Mark did the second album with me and Wally, then Level 42, we went forward with Wally because he was just so unique a musician. At that time, he was doing Grace Jones, Talking Heads, later on Foreigner, Robert Palmer. You know, he just exploded in the early 80s. And I think his sound as a keyboard player was really influential in a way that people don't realize now. Like, if you go back and listen to The Message by Grandmaster Flash, that Prophet sound, that's all Wally, man. You know, that's Wally Battery One. That's on like Pull Up to the Bumper, you know, on Grace Jones, you know. And he was having a huge impact on the keyboard players in that world. They were listening to what he was doing, and he was our guy. He was on our records. It was amazing. I mean, it was incredible to have him.
You had such a big writing presence on World Machine. I mean, that's the one that I paid attention to the most. But I when I'm looking at who wrote those songs, you were all over the place.
Yeah, me and Mark used to write some stuff together on every album. There probably one or two things where we sat down and wrote together, which I loved. You know, I mean, I think there was 3 tunes like that on the third album. I think there's a track. I think Good Man and Storm, Coup d'Etat, A Physical Presence, the song me and Mark wrote, the two of us. You know, and I love that connection. We had an amazing connection. So I think there's a track called A Good Man and a Storm on World Machine, which I'm really proud of because
that is beautiful. That is haunting.
Yeah. But it's like me, I've got like A and I'm going to D, and he's got this riff he's building up, and then he did this B section. Then I had this hymn, da 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 da, and it was all out of time like a hymn, and then we just put it in time, da ba ba da 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 da, yeah. And it's like, wow, that sounds really cool, Mark. You know, and it's just like one of those things that we were so opposite, but when we worked together on certain things, there was just a beautiful blend, and when we could get past ourselves, you know, we could do some lovely things together. But unfortunately, there was a lot of ego and dynamic and sort of also monetary concerns and things like that. It was kind of a shame, but I think, I remember talking to Ken Scott about this, who produced our 4th album, that, you know, some bands have a lifespan, you know, like Missing Persons, this band he did with, who's that astonishing drummer, Christ, that played with Zappa? My brain's gone today.
He was in UK, Terry Bozzio.
Terry Bozzio, yeah. But they look set for like huge things. They did one album, sold 800,000 copies, and then disintegrated, you know. And like we did 7 studio albums and a live album, and Ken said, "I think you did all right," you know. And I was kind of like, "Yeah, okay, that's the way to look at it." And I'm more than grateful now that we did what we did. It's a shame because the one thing I do miss is that relationship with Mark as a writer. You know, the two of us, just in those lovely moments where I've got this bit, have you got that bit, you know, and you know, I remember he might have a great sequence, I put a top line on it, I might have a sequence, he put a top line on it, and it's kind of like that connection you have to musicians is so rare, and it's very special when you find it. And it's probably, I work with some wonderful musicians since, of course, but that particular connection is probably unlikely I'll ever have anything like that again. You know, I don't think that comes along very often in your life, that kind of thing.
So what was the deal with the dark glasses? You had the shades a lot back then.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I started wearing them as I was 16, you know, when I was working in this factory, trying to pay my drum kit off.
So it was your thing. That's just your thing.
Yeah, and I just started wearing dark shades, and maybe by the end of my 20s, I was probably hiding at that point because I was really upset with a little bit of the commerciality that was going on. I didn't want to talk to people about it. But I wore glasses, shades from age of 16, and I probably, when I left the band at 30, then I stopped doing it because I realized I was messing my eyes up, you know. But I still have boxes of shades in the drawers over there, all different National Health John Lennon type lenses with blue, green, you know, red, whatever it is.